Do you remember the lawsuit that was filed against Diddy by producer Rodney Jones, aka Lil Rod? It was one of the first Diddy lawsuits, and it included a bunch of pictures and cliff notes, like the one that said, quote, a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, or the one after that, which said, a Grammy award-winning R&B singer who had trouble with law enforcement after assaulting a Bayesian billionaire. As if those didn't tell us exactly who they were talking about. The lawsuit was filed against Diddy, his son Justin Combs, Cuba Gooding Jr., and UMG. And while not a defendant, the suit also made mention and included a picture of a man that Rodney Jones said was Stevie J, but it was later revealed that the person in the picture was not Stevie J, and it was another man whose profession involved him being in those kind of situations. Okay, those are all the hints I have. If you don't remember, you're just gonna have to go watch my video. But there's an update to that lawsuit. A little more context, the lawsuit was filed on behalf of Rodney Jones, aka Lil Rod, by his attorney whose name is Tyrone Blackburn. And after it was filed, attorneys for UMG filed a motion to dismiss. And y'all know how UMG attorneys get down, so the motion was T. So after UMG filed their motion to dismiss, Blackburn responded to the motion to dismiss with all the reasons that he said the case should not be dismissed. Well, the judge has now ruled on that motion to dismiss, and ciao. Before even getting into what claims will be dismissed or what claims will proceed, the judge issues a warning to Tyrone Blackburn, Lil Rod's attorney, saying, previously the court declined to impose sanctions on Blackburn related to the admittedly false claims he filed on behalf of Jones against UMG and associated defendants. Early in the case, UMG pointed out a number of things that were false in the complaint, like saying that Motown and Love Records had some kind of partnership, which was the basis as to why Motown was listed as a defendant. Not only did they not have a partnership, but Blackburn knew they didn't have a partnership and included this in the lawsuit anyway. UMG also pointed out that while Blackburn was telling the judge that UMG and the other defendants weren't responding or having their attorneys file an appearance, the truth of the matter is Blackburn never actually had them served. So for all of these misrepresentations, UMG asked for Blackburn to be sanctioned. The judge continues on. Blackburn has a pending referral to the Southern District's Disciplinary Committee for his repeated failure to investigate basic elements of his cases. This is another shout out to UMG because they are the ones that highlighted that a judge in another Southern District of New York case had already called Blackburn out for a pattern of, quote, improperly filing cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. And in case your brain is trying to figure out, is this for Tony Busby or is it really Tyrone Blackburn? It's really Tyrone Blackburn. They just apparently have some similarities. The judge goes on to say that Blackburn's conduct is unsettling and his filings are filled with, quote, inaccurate statements of law, conclusory accusations, and inappropriate ad hominem attacks on opposing counsel. And then she gives an example. Apparently in Blackburn's filing, he wrote that, quote, defendant Sean Combs and the Combs RICO enterprise are presumed guilty of being a RICO criminal organization. Now, I know that sometimes it may feel like that, but that's not the actual law. And for a lawyer to state that in a court filing is wild. And in response to this, the judge says, quote, that any licensed member of the bar would espouse or adopt or say to be true. Such an absurd understanding of the law is not just disturbing, but shocking. Then, rather than focusing on the claims pleaded in his lawsuit, Blackburn writes that it is evident from the multiple civil lawsuits and the 14-page indictment the kind of sexually deviant monster Sean Combs is. The judge also says, Blackburn's filings are full of irrelevant insults, misstatements, and exaggerations, and instead of owning up to UMG's objections of all the things he's saying, Blackburn instead wrote, quote, it is clear that defense counsel are obsessed with me, and although initially flattering, their obsession has become creepy. The judge tells Blackburn in this order, while she is not going to sanction him now, if this kind of misconduct continues, it may lead to sanctions or to referral for discipline. Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, but if a judge was talking to me like that, I might quit. Now let's get on to the ruling. The first claim in Lil Rod's lawsuit was for a RICO. And yes, that can be a cause of action in a civil lawsuit. But the judge dismissed that claim, saying even if a Diddy enterprise did exist, the lawsuit doesn't show how any of the enterprise's activities harmed or affected Rodney Jones. The judge then also shadily adds that after UMG listed all the reasons that this claim should be dismissed, Blackburn responded but didn't address any of UMG's actual reasons. And the judge says it shouldn't be necessary to, quote, root around a 402-paragraph complaint to contrive novel arguments on Jones's behalf. That was a nice way of the judge saying Blackburn wrote 402 pages about nothing. The next claim addressed is the trafficking claim, and that one was against Diddy and his chief of staff, KK. That claim is allowed to proceed, but it's dismissed against Diddy's company, Combs Global. The next claim is for sexual assault, and that one is also against Diddy. The judge says that one can proceed, but the intentional infliction of emotional distress and breach of contract are both dismissed. And then, before signing off, the judge addresses one more thing. As I said, one of the things UMG brought up early in this case is that all the defendants hadn't been served. Tyrone Blackburn initially asked for an extension so that he had time to serve them. But that extension deadline has passed, and apparently people still haven't been served. So the judge has ruled that the claims against Jane Doe are dismissed. And if there isn't an update on the others being served in the next 2 weeks, the claims against them will also be dismissed. It's getting spicy, ain't it?